As someone who's called this township home for 50 years, over 50 years, and I'm a proud member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars for 49 years, it is truly an honor to serve as commander of the VFW Post 5481 and to stand with you today. Veterans Day has deep roots. It began in 1919, marking the end of World War I and the so-called war to end all wars. But in 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower gave it a broader meaning. He renamed it Veterans Day to honor not those who just served in World War I, but all who have worn the uniform in defense of our nation and our freedoms. What unites every veteran, no matter what branch, the era, or whatever your mission was, is a deep love for our country. Today we have 22 million Americans who answered the call to serve and are still with us. They were ordinary people who stepped forward in extraordinary ways. They served to protect our nation and to preserve our life and our way of life. As we honor those who have served, let us remember those who are now serving, or are serving right now. Men and women on active duty, standing watch around the world. Their courage, their commitment to carry forward the legacy we celebrate today. May we always remember the cost of freedom and those who bear it. Thank you. Township Mayor Matt Kayne will now speak.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to welcome you all here as we gather to observe Veterans Day, a day of gratitude, remembrance, and reflection. Today we come together as one community to honor the men and women who have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Forces, those who answered the call of duty, who stood ready to defend our freedoms, and who protected the values that define who we are as a nation. Our veterans come from every walk of life, but they share a powerful bond, a deep and selfless commitment to something greater than themselves. Through their courage and sacrifice, they have safeguarded our democracy, protected our families, and upheld the ideals that make this country strong and free. To our veterans here with us today, and to those who could not be with us today, we say thank you. Thank you for your service, thank you for your bravery, and thank you for showing us what it means to live with honor and integrity. And to the families of our veterans, the spouses, parents, children, and loved ones, we thank you as well. Your strength, your patience, and your support have been the quiet foundation behind every act of service. You too have served. Here in Montville Township, we are proud of our veterans and active duty service members. You are our neighbors, our co-workers, and our heroes. Your legacy lives on in our schools, in our civic pride, and in the example you set for the next generation. As we reflect today, let us remember that honoring our veterans is not something we do only once a year. It's something we must carry with us every day by ensuring that those who served are cared for, respected, and never forgotten. I want to thank Commander Ken Hanzl and all the members of Post 5481. You are an essential part of the fabric of our community. Thank you as well to our township administration, our DPW, EMTs, firefighters, and our police officers for your daily commitment to keeping Montville Township safe and strong. May we always strive to live up to the values of our veterans defended, freedom, equity, and unity. And may we continue to build a community worthy of their sacrifice. On behalf of the Township Committee and all the residents of Montville Township, thank you to each and every veteran for your service to our nation. We honor you, we remember you, and we salute you today and every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Kayne. I just want to say, sidebar thing here, that the cooperation and the friendship of every organization in this town, including the township administration, has just been great. The county level, all the way from that, all the way down to the policeman on the corner. So it's always makes me feel good about that. As part of today's Veterans Day program, it's my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker. We're very fortunate to be joined by the principal of one of our township's outstanding elementary schools, Dr. Michael Raj. Dr. Raj has served as principal of Cedar Hill School for the past 19 years, bringing with him a wealth of experience and a deep commitment to educational excellence. Prior to his leadership at Cedar Hill, he served as a school psychologist and vice principal in Washington Township and a principal in Jefferson Township. He is a proud alumnus of Seton Hall University, where he earned 4 degrees, a bachelor's, master's, education specialist, and doctorate in education. Each one reflects his lifelong dedication to learning and leadership. Under Dr. Raj's guidance, Cedar Hill has flourished. The school is known for its strong sense of community, its emphasis on character education, and its beloved annual Veterans Day Assembly. Dr. Raj is passionate about creating a school culture that celebrates citizenship, kindness, and respect. His wife, Tony Ann, is also an educator, I believe still teaching at Woodmont School. Please join me and give a warm welcome for Dr. Michael Raj.
Thank you, Mr. Hanzl. When Ken sent me an email to come and participate in today's events, I hesitated at first because every year when we have a Veterans Day program, thank you, Liz, I'm just a principal. I am not worthy to be in this group to speak in front of you, all of you who've given such sacrifices to our nation. But it's because of your sacrifices that allows me to come here today and speak to you. So with that in mind, that's where I'm gonna steer my morning message to you. 19 years ago, I came to Cedar Hill Schools. In October was my 19th year here. And in the process of that, I've had the opportunity to witness many Veterans Day programs in my previous districts and even as a student. So when you first come to a school, you're gonna be sitting there and they first tell you, you do nothing that first year, you just watch and observe to see what happens. So first one was Halloween, typical stuff, Halloween parade, kids dressed in costumes, parties followed with the class. Then came the Veterans Day program. Now I have to tell you, under the leadership of the teachers that were here prior to me, Kathy Lundquist, Trudy Coppola, who spearheaded the Veterans Day program, to be honest, I didn't know what I was in for. I just thought it was going to be just another regular, ceremony, flag salutes, some pictures on the wall of what I was used to seeing. As the weeks progressed toward that Veterans Day program, I started to see the school take shape. I started to see the teachers engaged and the students get excited. And I started to feel excited, not knowing what was going to be coming, until I saw that first Veterans Day program. When I saw the veterans walking in there in uniform, we had that bulletin board, red carpet, so to say, for them to walk on, and it was just amazing. And I was taken aback. I was like, you talk about being humbled. You're in the presence of such greatness that each and every person who donned the uniform made for us to be there. And it just doesn't start with the people in uniform. As you all know, it goes beyond that. It goes to the home, to the families, that when you get deployed, they're deployed with you. They're keeping everything going strong here at home, and it's just amazing. So it's such an honor to have the ability as a school leader and our teachers to continue this message to our students. I'll always remember one of the veterans said, a student asked a question, we're talking about the horrors of war. And a young student raised their hand and said, well, why'd you volunteer? Why did you do this? And this struck me so much that it just stays with me today. The gentleman answered by saying, I did it, I answered the call, so in the hopes that one day you never have to. And that has just stuck with me, and I say that's a close of my Veterans Day program every year at Cedar Hill School. When I talk to our students as a General Assembly, that these men and women here did what they had to do, so hopes that in the future, you and your children never have to. And that's what the Veterans Day program is for me. It goes a little bit beyond that as far as my personal experience. I've never had the honor to serve. My uncle was a Navy Seabee, my father was in Special Forces in the Army, and my father-in-law was in the Air Force. I never had the honor to do so. So my calling, I guess, is to lead through the knowledge and transfer of stories to the younger generations. This way it makes them more capable of just being better people in the world. During World War II, my grandparents were living in Poland. I'm first generation born in the United States on my mother's side. During that part of Poland, it was taken over by the German army, and their little village was taken captive, and they divided the people up into where they're going to go work. Telling the story, my mother would always say, because my grandmother and grandfather would never really talk about it, but trying to get it back to the story from my mother was that they would look at the people's hands, and if you had soft hands, you went to one area. If you had hard, calloused hands, you went to work. My grandfather was a police officer / farmer, because everyone was a farmer in Poland, and he went to work in the camps. My grandmother, who was a teacher, was fluent in Polish, but also was able to read and write in German. So the German officer took a liking to her and made her his little assistant. So she would read his letters, write letters for him, and she always said that he treated her very well. To the point where he would always say, take this piece of food back with you and share it with your husband. He goes, but don't get caught, because if you got caught, I'd have to lie and say that you stole it. So it was always like a potato. As far as I can remember, she would never eat potatoes. She would say, I can't eat another potato. So then as the war started to close in, I guess the Germans then decided to rally up all the people from the village there, and they packed them onto a train, and they were driving them into Germany, where I guess they ended up in Kassel, Germany. And that's where the train came to a halt, because there was fighting going on there. And the door opened up, and it was the American soldiers who were now liberating the train where my grandparents were. So they were in a relocation camp for a number of years in Germany. That's where my mother was born. She's actually a dual citizen. She's a German citizen because she was born on German soil, as well as an American citizen. So we had the opportunity then to, where do we go as far as like relocation? So you had to have sponsorships back then. So our choices were Canada, where my grandfather's sisters ended up there, Australia, where some other family members there, or United States, where some good friends of my grandparents ended up in Maplewood, New Jersey. So they decided to come down there. They were able to get a priest to come and sponsor them, and that's where they ended up in the United States. But prior to that, which is always what I want to show the people here. So my grandfather became very close friends with one of the American soldiers. And when he was leaving, he gave my grandfather this mess kit. So this is from the soldier's mess kit. It's typical, it's a U.S. stamp on there. It's a knife, spoon, and fork. This is the utensils my grandfather ate from every single meal. Regardless if it was Christmas dinner, Easter dinner, whatever it was, this is what he would eat with. And you can see, when you look at it closely, his spoon is warped on one side from the scrape here because of the decades of use that he had. And he would only use this material here. And in our family, Christmas time, we'd always said that Christmas Eve dinner was big for us in our tradition. And we would always set a special plate aside, for the traveler, right? That sort of thing. My grandfather always changed it to that plate that we set for that soldier, that gentleman that befriended him in Germany at that time. And we still carry that tradition on in my household today. So Thanksgiving, we set that plate there. And I think it's always important that I instill that to my children. I have, a 12-year-old, a seventh grader, and a son who just turned 10, that they understand that, as we always know, freedom isn't free, and it's through the efforts of our brave men and women in uniform that we continue the memory of what's going on here. That's why I love the Veterans Day program at Cedar Hill School. I love the fact that these veterans come in and share their stories with the children. It's one thing to talk about it in a history book or to watch a YouTube clip on it, but it's another thing to hear it in the voices of the people who experienced it. That's what makes it meaningful and the connection for the kids. when they hear firsthand what happened, how it went, and what the feelings were, it's meaningful, and that's impactful, and that's what stays with them. Some of the other things we've collected over the years, it's an American flag that was flown from a helicopter in Iraq. We recently just got this from us, a gift to the Cedar Hill School, which is proudly displayed in my office as a constant remembrance of the sacrifices that everyone's made. And then last year, Cedar Hill was awarded the Citizenship Award for elementary schools in New Jersey. So Veterans Day is very meaningful to us, as educators. We always want to remember, but I think I tend to lead it with a little bit of personal bias, given the fact that, it's meaningful for me on a personal level, and it's why I think I push so hard for the Veterans Day program here, and the staff really love it. Dr. Lundquist, Trudy Paul, they've moved on, but other staff members have stepped up, and each year it gets better and better. They're already at the doors are being decorated. They're waiting for your arrival come Friday. So I hope, in conclusion, I hope that everybody is able to come on Friday. We look forward to your visit, as we do every year. And again, I'm humbled to be here. I'm not worthy to stand here in front of all of you. It's such an experience, and it's so gratifying for me to do so. And I thank you very much for all that you do, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday.